Welcome to another episode of Purchase to Profits. I'm Seth Ferguson. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss our interviews with successful real estate investors. Our guest today is a real estate investing veteran who is called the Mentor. He teaches students how to use creative real estate strategies to build portfolios, and he has also authored a number of books on real estate, sales, and success. Claude Diamond joins us today. Claude, welcome to Purchase to Profits. It's great to have you on the show.
Thanks for inviting me, Mr. Ferguson. Looking forward to it.
You're very welcome, Mr. Diamond. I'll just call you Claude.
Call me Claude. I'm only old enough to be your father, not your grandfather.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Like I said, I'm really looking forward to this. You have a unique take on things, and I'm sure our viewers will really appreciate it.
They'll either love me or hate me. Well, we'll find out.
Well, as long as they're listening, it doesn't really matter if they love you or hate you, right?
Yeah. There's no such thing as bad publicity.
That's right.
Ask Donald Trump.
Yeah, that's right. As long as you're not forgotten, right?
Exactly.
So to kick things off, do you want to tell us a little bit about your real estate goals now, and then we'll kind of go back into the past when you were first starting out?
My goals right now are just basically maintaining my existing properties. When I was younger, I was a very aggressive investor. I loved real estate, and I think like a lot of your other guests, I found out that I was a business major in college, and I said, "Gee, where do rich people make their money?" And there was always this consistent answer: real estate. Getting into real estate. They ain't making this stuff anymore. I forgot what great humorist said that, but I knock on wood, I've never lost money on a real estate deal. I guess I'm what you would call a small residential real estate. I like residential real estate because everybody needs a home. Everybody needs a place to live. So I always went to the simplest, easiest place to go. And I loved it. And right now my business has evolved into more sales training and real estate training now. From all the experiences I've had, both good and bad. I love sharing all the dumb stuff I did so people don't repeat it. I've made mistakes, but I've also had my wife and I have a great life thanks to real estate. We live in California here in beautiful San Diego. It was 76 degrees yesterday. It was really nice in the winter. And we also, we live in Winter Park, Colorado by the ski area, Pinehurst, North Carolina. And you can do real estate anywhere. And it's given us just a great quality of life. Freedom, I think, is a consistent word all your viewees say. The freedom that you get from this business. I mean, I'm a horrible employee. How about you, Seth?
I am the worst employee out there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And
exactly.
I'm a little jealous because it's right now. I'm looking out my window. It's -2, and we are covered in snow right now.
Oh my God! Did you see the weather for Chicago and -20 and stuff like that?
It's just nuts. So,
yeah.
I need to listen to you and build my portfolio even more so I can move down and join you in the nice weather.
Yeah, exactly. And the main premise, I guess, I want your audience to take away from me is that you can, to have this business in real estate, it's not just, you have to be superb in sales, in persuasion. You have to be an excellent communicator if you're going to do deals consistently and put mac and cheese on the table.
Yeah.
Okay. I think a lot of people have the idea that it's all about knowledge and strategies and marketing. It's about conversion. Can I talk to somebody who's a buyer, a seller, an investor, and use the right words in the right way so that they say, yes, let's do a contract, let's do a deal in one phone call?
Yeah. No, that's huge. And even if you're not speaking directly with the seller, if you're even speaking with a broker, you're still selling the broker on your credibility as a buyer.
Exactly. And I want a commitment. I want information in one phone call. I don't want to do this back and forth. Oh, I'll call you in a week. Send me info. I want to know right now. Can I get an appointment? Can I get a commitment? Can I get a contract? Or can I get out? I don't want to waste time. What's the difference between, I say this all the time, what's the difference between millionaires and people who are just struggling their entire life? What's the difference?
I'd say their closing ratio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we all have 24 hours, though. We're all in the same reasonable IQ area. What does a millionaire do that nobody else does? Puts a value on time. They know they're going to die someday, and they don't want to make a minute of time sitting in 3 hours of traffic in LA for a meeting that won't make them any money. We've got to work smarter than everybody else.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really important point. So when did your mindset shift to that focus? Like, what was the big event that happened?
I'm the former world's worst salesman. I couldn't give away money. I mean, I was horrible. I went to a lot of seminars. I read a lot of books. I really believe in education. I've gone to business college. I have a doctorate in law. I really believe, but nobody ever taught me how to make money. And then I did what everybody else does who wants to learn real estate. And I went to all the gurus and all the seminars, you know, the Holiday Inns with the stale donuts and the wheat coffee. And then they're jumping up and down, you're going to be rich. And I listened to them, and I didn't get rich. I just got tenants and turlets. Okay. I had bad properties in bad neighborhoods. And I had a corporate job, and I had to keep that corporate job, which I really didn't like, so I could continue to support my tenants' way of life, because they sure weren't paying me on time. And between the maintenance and the management and the bill collecting and the evictions, it wasn't really fun. Maybe I'm being an unmotivational speaker here or something, but I did one thing really smart. It was a pivotal moment, an epiphany, a revelation. I found an investor, a very successful investor, who became my mentor. And this man could close a deal in one phone call. He could make more money in one phone call than I made in a whole year at a corporate job. And that was like a moment in my life. I still talk about it. It was over 30 years ago. And so another takeaway, find somebody who can teach you to do what they're doing, to duplicate their success and shorten the learning curve. And that was for me, that's what I needed. So I needed someone to take me by the hand and say, this is the right way to do it. This is the wrong way.
Yeah.
You know, and I needed that support, which I wasn't getting from the other conventional means of education.
Yeah. So you were floundering around a little bit, supporting your tenants' lifestyles. Did you say to yourself, I need to find somebody to show me the way? Is that how you came across your mentor?
I got very interested in using options and lease options. I was running, I had very limited, I was in my 20s. I was limited resources. And I was on a buying spree, buying properties. And eventually I ran out of cash and credit. Okay. And I heard about a man who was using options and leases with options, rent to owns. And I found, and the same name coming up. It was a very, not many people even today know much about utilizing options. And I did a lot of homework. Rockefellers used it. Mr. Zeckendorf. I don't know if you ever read that book. It's one of the greatest real estate books ever written about this financial real estate whiz in New York City. And his name was Zeckendorf with a Z, and he used options also. Donald Trump, without getting political, used options in his early book, The Art of the Deal. There's optioning in there too. And it's a means of controlling real estate without the heavy investment and the financial the liability.
Yeah. And
this man knew a lot about that, and and I kept bugging him until I finally got a meeting with him. And then my life, and then I was basically his gopher. Here I am, I have a corporate job, I have bad properties, I have a law degree, I have a business degree, and I'm fetching this man bagels and coffee. And I was grateful for it, by the way.
Yeah, no, for sure. So going back even farther in time, you mentioned you had limited resources. You were doing the creative real estate side with some lease options. How did you even discover lease options and the possibilities that side created?
Just basically, I was looking for another way of controlling real estate without it controlling me. The operative word in real estate is leverage. Can you control, it's like a fulcrum. Can you move that big boulder with a fulcrum, with a lever? And excuse me, I wanted to do the same thing in real estate. Is there a way, instead of putting that 10, 20, 30% down, going to the bank, the lawyers, the escrow and everything, was there another way to get in real estate, be a player in real estate, make money up front, money every month, money at the end of the deal, create notes, was there another strategy that would give me, I had the desire, I had the energy, but I didn't have the resource. My resources were limited. So I needed a strategy that would allow me to be a player, negotiate deals, and then find a way to, without always having all that money in cash up front.
Yeah.
And that's what lease purchasing did. My mentor knew more about that than any man alive.
Yeah. And did you have any, as you were starting to build your portfolio, did you have any other strategies or maybe takes on that lease option that you tried but didn't work out?
I tried different. In the beginning, I did what is called sandwich leasing. I'd find someone's property and I'd rent it for a certain amount of years with an option to purchase. We'd lock in the purchase price. And what I would basically do is then reconstruct and do a new contract with someone who wanted to take advantage of my ability to find these deals. So I'd get a property for 3 years. I'd rent it out for 1 year with an option. I'd break it apart, that person. I'd get option money, so I'd recoup my original small investment and maybe a profit. I would pay a certain amount of rent. Rents are negotiable, so I'd try to negotiate the best rent I could and then try to increase the rent because I was offering something greater than a rental, a rent to own. And so I would make more money over and above the rent. So that was constant passive income every month. And then if they bought the property at the end, since the price was increased a little bit, I would negotiate the best price, of course. I would make money at the end of the deal too. Sometimes people moved out. Sometimes they renewed the lease for another year, and we started it all over again. Option money, money in my pocket, positive cash flow, my daughter's first 3 words, teach a kid worse things, and then money at the end. The beautiful thing is, my mentor, you taught me, Max, he used to say that the tenants were smarter than the investors. And I said, what do you mean? I'm the big shot investor. And he says, no, tenants move in for first and last month. They don't have to pay the taxes, the insurance, the homeowner fees. They don't have to repair the heating system or the roof or anything. And the courts favor them. The courts always, in most jurisdictions, side with that. He said, if we could have the same control as the tenant, but maybe take one more step and pre-negotiate the terms of a purchase locked in with an option. An option gives you rights within not obligations. And that's the beautiful thing about it. So yeah. I can actually lock up a property for a period of time. I can rent it. I can rent to own it. I can sell the contract. I can move in it myself. My home in Colorado was a rent to own, and then we eventually bought it. I didn't know if I wanted to live in a place that gets 300 inches of snow a year. So it's it was just a wonderful strategy, a niche strategy that fulfilled my investment needs.
Yeah. And you mentioned you started off with those sandwich leases. What prompted you to explore other ways of doing it?
Because there is a lot of different ways you can do it. You can also take you can just rent the property. You don't have to rent to own it. So if you're getting it for $1,000 a month and you can rent it for $1,500 a month, and you see yourself as wanting to buy this property for yourself in the future, you don't have to pass an option. You can just rent it and pocket $500 a month. What's wrong with that? Yeah. While someone else is paying the taxes and insurance and has the all the habitability liability for repairs and stuff. Yeah. So there's so many advantages. So I could just rent it. I could take the contract and sell it to the tenant. If I thought it was a property I didn't only want to manage because I wasn't making enough money, I could take the contract and I call it arbitrage. Sell that contract to either someone who wants to live in the property or sell it to another investor. One of the ways I teach people is role playing here. You ready to do a role play with me?
Sure, let's go for it.
Oh, okay. Say hello.
Hello.
Hi, Seth the investor. How would you like to make $50,000 today?
How would I make $50,000 today?
Would you be interested in that if I could present? My name's Claude Diamond. I have a property right now with owner financing. We have it as a 2-year rent to own. And at the end of that period, the owner will carry back the mortgage. And I'm too busy with too many other deals right now. I'm looking to sell this property. It has at least a 50,000 plus potential in it. If I could outline that to you with a prospectus, which I'm willing to send to you now, is that something we could do when we speak again at 4:30?
Well, I think I would be interested in learning some more.
And you have those resources to pay me $7,500 today if you see the value in this deal?
$7,500? Yes, I can.
What? I'm sorry, what?
I said, yes, I can.
I do that on purpose. Okay, but I will send you a prospectus now. Why don't we do you have an iPhone, Seth?
I have an Android phone, not an
Okay. Are you
iPhone.
familiar with Zoom or Skype or something like that?
Yeah.
I'd like to have a face-to-face with you at 4:30, and it's okay to say no to me if this isn't your kind of deal. Are we
No.
agreed?
Yeah, let's do it.
Boom. I just demonstrated my gut sales method.
Yeah.
Your thing. By the way, this book is for free for all your wonderful listeners. This is my new book, The Rules of the Gut Sales Method. It's $100. I'm giving it away to free to all your listeners if that's all right with you.
That sounds great. We'll make sure we put all the information for that right down below this video, so they can just click.
Just have your very good-looking, intelligent office go to ClaudeDiamond.com, and there's a button there, free book, and I'll send it to them right away in PDF, digital.
Sounds good. Thanks for doing that.
I love giving stuff away. I hope you don't mind.
Free stuff is good.
Yes, it is. It's
especially stuff that can make you more money.
Absolutely. But to me, I want thank you for indulging me with the role play.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest key to being successful in this. But not only having the strategies like a lease purchase, and there's many other strategies that I've learned over the years, subject to owner finance, cash is king deals. But the thing is, can you get another? What did I do in the beginning of that role play? Right away, I skipped the whole "how do you do, kumbaya," "hi, I'm just reaching out," and all that bullshit that people talk. I went right to the what did I do in the beginning? You put
the carrot right in front of me right off the bat.
Did I get your attention as an investor?
For sure.
Right. What's the emotion I raised in you? Right. First sentence. What did I say?
You said, "Do you want to make $50,000?" Right. And
right. What emotion does that evoke?
For me as an investor, it makes me hungry.
It makes you hungry. It hits the greed button. Did I capture your attention right away?
Oh, absolutely.
Did I throw you a little off balance? We call that a pattern interrupt.
Yep.
Right. So skipping all the la-di-da, getting right to it. Maybe this is the New Yorker in me. I'm a New Yorker who climbed over the wall and they let into California. Okay. But the thing is, New Yorkers have a very good quality about them. They're very transparent. They're very honest. They're very direct. They don't want to waste time. It's a go-go place.
Yeah.
And I found that just getting right to the point with people. Would you like to do a deal today? Can you make a decision today? Can we have another appointment today? Do you have the money today? All that qualification in one phone call. This is what I learned from my mentor, Max.
Yeah.
About just getting to the point. And this is how a small-time investor working on his desk in San Diego can do deals all the time.
Yeah.
This is my secret sauce.
Well, so speaking of deals, is there one deal that stands out with all the ones you've done that stands out as a keystone deal?
The first deal I ever did, I was a kid out of college. It was a condo in Stanhope, New Jersey. Condo development. It was taken back by a bank, Mid-Atlantic, I think it was.
Yeah. And
I think they're still around. And the condo was $25,000, which in the Stone Age days, that was still money. That was still a lot of money. And I bought that condo with the full intent of just renting it out. And I dealt with tenants and turlets, as I say, and chasing people for rent and repair. Nothing's worse than on Super Bowl Sunday, getting a phone call in the middle of the game that somebody's toilet isn't working. That's why I'm called an entrepreneur, right? Because I wanted to be a plumber. Nothing wrong with being a plumber if that's what you want, but I wanted to be an investor. Okay. I just wanted to, I just listened to all the gurus. Oh, the money just flows in. They didn't tell you about people who don't pay their rent on time or don't pay at all, about things that break all the time. Things like that, evictions. I went to law school because I was tired of paying shyster attorneys. I wanted it cheaper. So that was my first deal. And then, but what happened is I learned how to lease purchase. I started doing that. I refinanced the property, and I was able to take that money and buy another condo in the same development. Now I had two, but the second one was a lot more money. And eventually, when my wife and I moved to California, I sold that condo, the first one, for $180,000. Do you know how much fun that is? when you're at a job that's paying you just about poverty level, and you're watching every penny and everything like that, and all of a sudden you have this influx of capital from one good investment, and that's where I got real estate fever.
Yeah. And you had mentioned at the start you were an aggressive, hungry investor when you were building. What made you aggressive and hungry? Like, what was that driving force behind the scenes?
I can keep this real simple. I wanted to make enough money so I didn't have to think about it anymore. Do you ever have a time in your life, I did, where you're constantly thinking about money because you don't have it? You're going to bed thinking about money. You're up at 2 a.m. How am I going to pay that rent? And it just if you've ever had that time in your life, it's not a nice time. I think God put me through that, actually, so that I'm grateful for every day of being in this wonderful business that I'm in now. My wife and I have freedom, don't we, dear? She said yes. I love women who say yes. When it's appropriate. See, we've been married 33 years. 33. Okay. And, we work together in this business. And it's just given us freedom, back to that freedom from financial stress all the time. Why do a lot of marriages break up? Money. Isn't that the number one cause, or is it marriage? Why do people get divorced? Marriage. But the thing about it is, when you remove money out of your life, you can be the person you want to be. And this business has given it to us, and we're very grateful for it. And I guess the answer to your question is freedom. Yeah.
And have you developed any rituals that you do maybe every day or weekly or monthly that keeps you focused on your real estate, even back in the day when you were building?
Yes. You see all those running medals back there? I like to run. I run 10 miles a day. I have a ritual every morning. I exercise. I do my weights. I do my sit-ups. I like to run 10 miles a day when in most days I get it done. Some days are a little hectic, but I love doing road races, trail running, keeping your health is, I don't want to be the richest guy in the graveyard. So that's one of my rituals. Another ritual, which I teach my students, I mentor people in over 18 countries in real estate and the gut sales method, is that you have to speak to 5 people every day, minimum. I think most people get sidetracked with minutia. They're either doing something, they're studying other strategies, they're working on expensive marketing methods, they're working on their computer in different applications which take up hours or days sometimes. They're running all over the place instead of doing the one thing, like the sign says behind me. Do you give good phone? Can you talk to 5 people a day? And usually when I ask people, when they call me up, Claude, I have a problem in real estate or this or that, and I'll say, well, how many people did you speak to today? Well, my grandmother called. I had to change the windshield washer fluid for. And I say, okay, what about the other day? And it's always excuses and stuff. And I'm a student of psychology. I believe that psychology really relates strongly to persuasion and influence. How to use the right words at the right time to get people to like and trust you. And I think most people do not pick up the phone because of fear. And my job is to help them overcome that fear and give them a system and give them the confidence. So if you want a routine that'll make you money, that'll guarantee, I use the word guarantee, success in this business, minimal 5 people a day, every day. That means that now you have follow-up calls, you can make offers every day. And sometimes we talk to a lot more people, but I set a personal goal. I want to speak to new investors, houses for sale, houses for rent, follow-ups from a year or 2 ago. I don't care. That's the consistency you need in your business. You got to talk to your prospects. Do you think we're doing that enough, Seth?
I think we can all be better at it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you got to get on that phone and talk to people. Now we have the technology to not only do an audio call. That's why I asked you if you had an iPhone earlier, because iPhones have something built in called FaceTime. And so when I know somebody has an iPhone, I click a button, and now we have a video phone call like what you and I are doing right now on Zoom. what kind of wonderful, and instead of getting in my car, driving in traffic, spilling coffee between my legs, meeting someone who's going to be late, I can now meet them on my computer, my iPhone, my iPad. What does that give me in terms of time?
Oh, it frees up so much time. Plus, instead of just voice to voice, now you're seeing facial expression and body language, which is
exactly, yeah, very good. You can tell so much about a person. If you're talking to somebody, you can't see on the phone if they're texting or doodling or something like that. But on video, the eyes are the windows to the soul. You can see if they're paying attention, leaning forward, listening, what their hand gestures are.
Yeah.
And stuff. Does that put you in a superior selling environment? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Sales is the $1 million skill. I say that 10 times a day.
Yeah.
You could be the smartest guy, know all the strategies, know all the algorithms to all the mortgages and all that stuff. You could have all kinds of degrees and things like that. But if you can't evoke from another human being a civil adult to adult conversation where you're getting information and you're getting commitment in one call, you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
It's not a horrible thing to say,
but it's the truth, right?
It is in my world.
Yeah, it is what it is. So
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
Nothing to talk about here today.
We've got so much to talk about.
We get a deal. I was going to interject real quick. Yeah. My wife and I were going to visit my nieces who were visiting in town, and we were going to lunch, and she was driving. And in my car, someone called me, and before we got to the restaurant, I had a commitment from somebody on the phone for a nice sum of money. Do you know how good that feels to have that ability to convince somebody in the first phone call to make a commitment, to talk about the numbers, to get a contract, to even get, even through PayPal in the car, my word of honor, you can ask my wife, I got money through PayPal in the car before lunch. That's a good lunch to go to when you already made money in the car. This all comes back to being a student of persuasion and influence, using a system of learning how to ask questions and talk to people. I'm sorry I digressed before, but I wanted to share that story.
Oh no, that's a great story. So, and that leads me to, how has you becoming a student of that process and of real estate benefited your life? How has it changed your life right now?
It's just we were able to raise two great kids. They were able to come out of college. What are we hearing about the kids from college today? They're coming out of college with hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. Okay, how do they get started when they're doing a startup job? Excuse me. And they have that burden. We were able to, my promise to my children, I have great kids. They're not spoiled or anything. I don't like sport. My children had to work jobs and things like that. They didn't get a free lunch because mom and dad had a good business. But my kids, one of the promises I made them is they'd come out of college debt-free. And they both have great careers. My daughter works for Apple and Universal Studios. My son is the youngest manager in the Safeway Albertsons chain. They both did great. So it allowed us the freedom to raise our child. I was not an uncle to my child. I was always home working. They think all dads were home working. And it allowed us to have time to take the kids to the zoo and things like that. We were homeschool parents. We couldn't have done that. My wife did all the work. I just take the credit for it. Yeah, really. See, but I don't know if you could hear her.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we were able to participate with our kids, not just drop them off at daycare, or nannies and things like that. We were able to be part of our kids' life. That was real important to us. Second thing, now in this part of our life, we have the luxury of time and the financial resources to volunteer. We're on the board of directors of the Rocky Mountain Repertoire Theater. We love helping that theater. We have the time to volunteer. We have the time to write checks. We are members. I'm a board member of the Lions Club, which is an organization that helps veterans get seeing eye dogs, or children get eyeglasses or eye surgery. You can be the human being you want when you take care of your own financial nest first.
Yeah.
Does that sound a little self-serving? Maybe it is, but
no, I think that's so true. And the more successful people I talk with, the more that comes out more and more in those conversations. Like it's very consistent.
I
And
love giving back. I love giving back. I love helping good organizations, either financially or through volunteer time
yeah,
with it, and that you make a difference in the world. One person can make a difference in the world.
yeah, no,
And
that's so true.
you can do even more.
And well, let me ask you. So, do the kids hate real estate? Why aren't they following in your footsteps?
They don't hear real estate, but they were around it 24/7, and they had other interests. My daughter works for Apple Corporation. She now does voiceovers for Netflix. She works for Universal Studios. She loves the entertainment business. She's in LA. My son is in Wyoming. When he was a kid at 16, we helped to get him a job at the Safeway, pushing carriages and bagging and stuff like that. Today, he's the youngest manager in the chain, and he makes a phenomenal income for a person of his age group, and he loves what he's doing, and so they went on their own paths. I don't believe in control. Will they come back into real estate? I'm sure they will sooner or later, right?
Yeah.
Everybody has to deal with real estate in their life at some point, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. So Claude, if somebody's looking for some more information about you, where can they go to find that?
They just have to, your audience is so intelligent, they just have to Google Claude Diamond and they'll see. I'm on YouTube. I have 850 videos on YouTube. I love talking about real estate and sales and social media marketing. Or they can go to claudediamond.com and get my free book if they'd like, the 50 Rules of Guts. I just wrote. It's a $100 book. Your audience gets it for free. And why do you think I do that, by the way? Let's be totally transparent here.
Because you're a super nice guy.
No, because I'm a marketer, because I like marketing. And a lot of people, this is maybe the first time they've ever heard of Claude Diamond. This is a way they get a free book and they learn more about me, and I stop being a secret. That's called virtual attraction marketing, something maybe on another episode we could talk about.
For sure. I'd love to have you back.
Thank you.
That would be great. Well, Claude, just want to say thanks so much for taking the time to share your success and stories with us today.
Thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun. I hope we had enough to talk about, right?
Oh, we could talk for another 2 hours, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah. We're both shy and reluctant guys, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So, thanks again for doing it.
Thank you so much, Seth.
Yeah. And to our viewers, I wish you well on your journey from purchase to profits. See you next time.